So I'm very, very, very happy to be with you today. I don't like slides. I have slides, so I apologize. I'm going to have to go through slides. I'm going to introduce myself because you say, okay, he's the orange guy, so that's the reason why he has to show up. But that's random, right? Why do we care about what that guy has to talk about? So I don't want to brag, but I'm going to tell you that I've been doing things in the past that might show you that why I care, why I'm here. You guys are familiar with OpenStack? With Hadoop? Okay, so I work at Yahoo and I co-created those two things. So it's not too bad, right? It's real open source. Open source is really, 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 really hard. Really hard. We used to say it's a game. At the end of the day, Red Hat wins. And many open source initiatives, they just hit the wall. They don't work. So we are going to have to be extremely smart, mobilized to make sure that these things become a success. I'm very happy with the names that I've seen on the slide, the 70 members. I think it's a good start. To be honest with you, I'd like to see more names. I'd like to see, we have some big names, but we need more of those. So, is that working? Okay. All right, so you guys know prpl extremely well. That's the reason why you're here. You know it's a key open source initiative. It's actually two things. It's about open source and it's about platforming. And when you think about, you hear like software is eating the world. You've heard that multiple times. We've been hearing this for like, what, 15 years now? What we can say is really platforming is eating the world today. And if you look at the economics of platforming, platforming is both a business play and a technology play. And the reason why I'm happy to be here today is not because prpl is just an open source, another open source initiative. I think this one goes deeper than that. If you look at platforming, if you look at the ability to create extensibility, innovation at scale, that's really what's at stake. There are two things that are at stake today. First of all, we have a very strong risk of having strong players. We're not going to name them, but they are the elephants in the room that can build a very verticalized set of solutions where you can imagine tomorrow that you build your gateway and your gateway only works if it connects directly to services in the cloud that are being designed by the same manufacturer or company that has provided the chipset. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You can see how this ecosystem can completely get out of control. I've worked with them for many, many years. I know who they are. I know they have product managers. I know that they are being incentivized right now to build that verticalization. So what you guys are doing here is really important. What you're doing is you're forcing to have a different kind of conversation. You want to make sure that we build the best products, that we don't have tomorrow monopolistic behaviors where there's only one vendor that forces you into having one solution. So I really wanted to thank you all of you guys for being here today. I know it's a commitment, but I have no doubt that what you're doing is really in the interest of our customers, and that's what we should be thinking about. So, you guys know platforming. I've talked about, you know about, we are surrounded with platform ecosystem today. You could use Android, you could use your iPhone. You know, this is the way the things work. What I really like about platforming is essentially this ability to have limitless opportunity for creating value on top of that platform. But for that to work, it needs multiple things. First of all, it needs critical mass, right? I mean, you cannot just declare that you build a platform and people will come. I mean, over the last 15 years, I work for tech companies, and I've seen everybody trying to replicate what Apple has done with the iOS. Most of them have failed. So you really have to ask yourself, you know, what are going to be the capabilities that you're going to put into this platform that's going to be compelling for developers to develop on top of that? What's going to be the DNA and the value proposition that's going to get into this platform that's going to motivate developers to come and develop? Obviously, you need a commitment to OpenAPI. I think that will happen, but I think that's easy. I think everybody understands that as well. I think people understand the value standardization. People understand that you cannot create a lock-in effect and you cannot play games. It has to be truly standardized. It needs to be a very simple model. We need to make it easy for our developers to add capabilities. Simplicity is very, very important, because if we don't have developers, then you don't have the platforming effect. And you know, there's a statistic here. I'm not going to quote McKinsey, because McKinsey always loves to announce the next $50 trillion opportunity. They do that every year. If you go on LinkedIn, they do that as a service. There's a trillion opportunity as a service. But so I don't know if that number is true or not. But essentially, I don't think you even need this slide. The reality is we live in a world where all of the successful software companies today have moved into a platforming play. I don't think you can give me the name of one successful software company that does not have a platform-based business model. Anyone takes the challenge? No? Salesforce, that's the platform. Oracle, do they have a platform? Not sure. Okay. So now let's be more specific. Why the home gateway being the perfect candidate for that new software platform? So first of all, we talk about how we're going to be successful with platforming. It needs to be compelling for developers. There has to be a return on investment. So you need something that's going to be extremely pervasive. Here you're playing with things in the order of magnitude of billions of units, right? We're talking about a home gateway, 1.2 billion gateway worldwide. I would have believed that's more than that. But at least you have 1.2 billion. And they are being purchased. Maybe those are just the ones that are being managed by operators. Maybe you can add additional that, like in the US, for instance, you can get your own gateway, and you just declare that. And what is very interesting with those home gateways is that they don't have such a low glass ceiling in terms of intelligence. It's not just about give me access to the internet and I'm done. It's not just that. First of all, it is where you have that entry point into the internet, as you know, but it has to be secured. It has to be smart. It has to be optimized. We talk a lot about ESG. We talk a lot about CO2 emission. It has to be power efficient. It needs to give me new capabilities. I'm going to have a video call. I'm going to play Fortnite. Give me low latency. Give me intelligence so that I know who is using what, who is doing what. I can protect my kids from doing stupid things. I can prioritize traffic. You know, I can have sensing capabilities. I can understand who is in the room so that I can actually change the behavior. So when I thought about that device, the home gateway, I asked myself, is prpl, is it really a good opportunity for us to build prpl on that? And it took me a few more minutes to kind of identify all the list of services that you can build and extend. And so part of the challenge that we're going to be facing as a community, because that's what we are here, is we're going to have to figure out what goes into the platform, what runs on top of the platform, and what will be the life cycle of those capabilities that are not part of the platform yet, that are essentially applications that eventually make it to the platform. Because the more you put into the platforms, the more you make it compelling. But again, you want to have developers that can continue to have freedom, they can innovate fast. So, as we say, the home gateway is the last home device that can be fully controlled and leveraged by operators. It's an extremely important thing. But that's an operator-centric statement. It's cool. I mean, I'm an operator, so I should care about those things. But I'm also of the belief that what matters is what makes sense for the customers. I think today, most of our customers do not realize the potential for innovation that exists with that device. And it comes down to you to break that perception ceiling that exists today. So I'm going to wrap this up. Why are we here? I mean, we're here because this is our building. So that's where we're located. That's the headquarters. But I would say that we are believers. We believe that today the home gateway is a strategic point of interaction with our customers. We believe it is strategic. Actually, I have to tell you, I think we have not scratched the surface yet in terms of the value we could create for our customers and how all of us could capture value. I'm also here, we're here because we believe that we need to live in a world that is based on merit and innovation, not monopolistic behavior where people actually take over control of ecosystems and then they lock you up so that they can raise price and they don't innovate anymore. That's not what I like, and I don't think any one of you wants that. So today you're making sure that it doesn't happen. To make sure that it doesn't happen, you're going to have to make sure we build solutions that are open, standard-based, and they are not fragmented. This goes back to Leonard's point about how do we make sure we create that synergy. We make sure that we are not reinventing the wheel 50,000 times over because the underlying ecosystem or OS or what you want, the way you want to call it, it's different each time. So you have to reinvent the wheel. And guess what? When you reinvent the wheel constantly, it means you don't do it well. We believe in partnership. We believe in openness. Orange believes that those relationships that we're building, the way we're building those kind of similarly minded communities is the way forward for innovation. So we are really happy to welcome you today. I really want to particularly show that I'm very grateful to all of those that have been traveling from afar. And you're all welcome, and I hope you're going to have a fantastic time with us today. Thank you so much.